beginning so I can share. Is it going live?
It's live.
All right, I'm waiting here. Happy Saturday, everyone. We're doing a rare Saturday show today.
Yeah, take that mask off.
I just did.
Yeah, can't hear
And we
you.
have a fun topic that you thought of, Al Hardy. Get your recorder ready, sir. You know what you're doing. I'm sorry.
I know what I'm
I'm
doing.
sitting here barking orders.
Don't give me orders. I know what I'm doing.
All right, let's see. Thought of, Al Hardy?
No, we're doing a
Get your
show
recorder
today.
ready, sir.
I'll
You know
say
what
it
you're doing. I'm
because
sorry.
now make sure your computer.
I just turned it off. I just turned it down.
You can mute it.
We got a lot of football games tonight as we record this. This is Saturday. See, tomorrow you have a procedure. I won't say what it is.
No. My procedure is Monday, and it's a colonoscopy. I have to take that laxative crap tomorrow. So I can't be doing.
I've not had the pleasure of that yet, Al. What's it like?
Well, you're old enough. You need one.
Well, I know, but what? Tell us what is the process like when you get a colonoscopy? The prep work.
Well,
sounds fun.
You have to take this stuff they give you that tastes pretty bad. It's a laxative that cleans you out. Because when they put that probe up your rear end, they don't want to see any
probe, like an alien probe.
But the thing about it is, they put you to sleep. And I had one 5 years ago. I have one every 5 years. And when they put you to sleep, I mean, you feel like you're out for 5 minutes. I go right to sleep, and then I wake up, and it's all over with. But you have this bloated feeling when you're finished.
Oh, God.
You know why? Because this is just terrible. When they're probing and finding any polyps, whatever, they pump air in there.
Oh God!
To clear the. And then you got a bloated feeling.
Can you turn the camera on, sir? Do you mind?
I can.
I'd like to. Yeah, let's show folks the phone number. Our topic today. I guess I'll let you reveal it. I'll give a hint. Captain Video and the Video Rangers.
We should do that when we start the show.
All right. I'll just give him a little sneak peek.
No, you just go ahead.
Sneak peek, man.
Yeah.
Remember Vern? Hey, what's up, Vern? Ernest. Ernest Goes to Camp.
Those were kind of crazy movies. I don't know. They were okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Ready, Freddy. Let's go. I'm ready. I brought a lot of props. I got a lot of stuff for the camera to show. We're going to have a little show and tell session today.
Right.
Show and tell. Remember that from school? That was my favorite thing to do when I was in elementary school. I have a mind like a child. What can I say?
We're on camera. How about that? Say hey to everybody.
Hey everybody, how's your Saturday going? Hope you had a nice you're having a nice Thanksgiving Day weekend. We are. And we just saw our friend Tom Williams when we were having lunch at let's give him a plug. The Buffalo House,
The
right?
Buffalo House. It's really good.
Where are they located, Al?
On Highway 29.
Which is in
Lawrenceville Highway. It's in Lilburn.
In the state of Georgia.
Right. And so I had their fish today. It was pretty good. Had some left over. And then Tom came in and said hello. He was out doing stuff today.
Want to say hey to our Facebook watchers. I see Jeff Logan watching. I see our friend Ryan Settles watching.
Hey, Ryan. Hey, Jeff.
We'll get started once he does the recorder in a minute.
I
Michael Hopkins is watching. Hello, Michael Hopkins.
I saw Jeff at Saturday, right?
Yeah, let's tell him.
Friday. What was it?
It was Black Friday. I mean, not to get racial. We're a non-political show. We try to be, even though we're opinionated.
Why do you always have to say that? It doesn't make any difference.
I know. Some people think that's an offensive term.
You bring attention to it, but you don't have to.
Anyway, we went to a Black Friday sale at a place called Book Nook 2, which is a used bookstore, but they have movies, compact discs.
That's true.
And dude, little secret. If you're in the Georgia area, they have 3 locations, and they can make so much more money selling their stuff on eBay. That's why it's a treasure trove when you go there. Anyway, everything there was half off, 50% off. So
That's
Jeff
right.
Logan met us. You met Jeff, my
yeah.
friend Jeff. I've known
Nice guy.
since, I'm dating myself since 1983.
And can we tell people how old you are now?
Go ahead. No, I changed my mind. No,
I'm going to tell them.
No. Let's get started.
I
Let's get
I
started.
can call you a senior citizen.
Yep, that's me. Give me the cane and the wheelchair.
All right.
God dang.
Stand by.
Oh, you can't even see my props yet on camera, guys. I brought a bunch of stuff.
Well, I can
It's
move
a
the
fun
camera
topic.
around.
That's
All right.
okay. Let me know when the recorder's on and we'll get rolling.
Hey, Chance, what time is it?
It's Saturday Rare Pod Blast time.
Saturday edition. The reason being, I think I mentioned it earlier before the show started. I'm having a colonoscopy on Monday, and I'll be taking the
All right, yay!
I'll be taking the laxative stuff on Sunday, so I can't sit in here without having to run to the bathroom.
It sounds like fun. I mean, what do you do when you take that laxative
This
stuff?
is actually my second colonoscopy. I had one 5 years ago, and I have one every 5 years, just to be on the safe side.
I think that's wise. All kidding aside.
And so I have to have that Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning. I have to be there at 9, an hour before. But, the worst part about it is, taking the powdered laxative you have to drink every 15 minutes until it's gone. Anyway,
what does it taste like?
Well, it tastes pretty bad, but they said the stuff they gave me when I went to pick it up on Friday at the pharmacy at Kaiser was, they said it's a lemon lime flavored.
Oh,
So-
isn't that nice? Like a
Isn't that
slushy.
Yeah.
Like a slush puppy.
Well, Dr. Nyack is doing. He said just mix it with Country Time lemonade, but
I remember that country. See, at the Pod Blast, our audience, they can get hip to the nostalgia of your first or second or third colonoscopy.
yeah, and
you can't get that anywhere else.
Chances to
folks.
the age he's going to have one.
I will have to have one soon, but
Yeah. Well, today we're going to be talking, minus all of that, we're going to be talking about the history of home video. And so we're going to talk about the history of VHS tape. And
this is not going to be boring either. This is interesting, and we have props.
Home video changed the market. See, I thought we were pretty cool back in the day because I collected 16 millimeter film. And the only way to watch movies back in the day, if you were a film collector, you could have films and show them to your friends and stuff. And I remember I borrowed a print. A friend of mine had the print of The Exorcist, and so I remember showing that at my apartment when I lived at the beach. And the place was full of people. But that was before, videotape came around and revolutionized home video. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today.
You mean professionally and for home viewers? The relevance of VHS.
Right. And VHS, it's the first really cassette tape was U-matic. And U-matic was used by television stations. And it was too expensive for home use because it was just a very expensive process. And so that was what changed everything when the U-matic tapes came around. And then people that with a lot of money, like movie stars and whatever, they could afford U-matic. But the home consumer could not afford it. So, but that was the first intro into to a video cassette.
Would you say then that audio cassette tapes and the 8-track tape, were they like the grandfather of the videotape?
U-matic was. Well, the first consumer grade VCR to be released was the Philips N1500 VCR, and that was way back in 1972. And they were expensive back then, even for the home market. And it was followed by 1975. Sony introduced the Betamax. Remember when Sony? And that led.
I was a wee one, but
that led to the videotape wars because Betamax was a great format. People liked it because it was a little bit better quality. But that tape, you could only record an hour on that tape, and that was it. And so a lot of people stayed away from the Betamax. It was a little more expensive, and but the VHS format came around from JVC. They introduced that format with the Video 2000. And of course, the Betamax came along.
You know who would be great for this show is our own Tom Williams, because he works in video. He works in television.
He works in television,
and he has for years. He knows all about this stuff. Hopefully, he'll call in.
We'll revisit this format.
We definitely will.
We'll revisit, but yeah, VHS tape really revolutionized everything. And I remember the first VHS machine I bought. Do you remember the first one you had?
I do, but I want to hear about yours. What year do you recall was the year you first had a VHS system?
I was working at Turner. I think it came. I bought it in the early 80s. But no, 1979, 1980, somewhere.
That's pretty
around
early
there.
on.
Yeah.
That's before we got ours in our family
And it was
household.
an RCA top load. That was,
Don't you have a picture of a top load you could show us?
I do.
While you find that, I'll tell you about our first family VCR.
Okay, well, go ahead and do that. And I'll show you the picture here.
All right. Well, a friend of mine, Jason Chandler, I'm wearing, for those listening on fistfulofradio.com, we're going to have a lot of visual aids, so you might want to jump on our YouTube channel or our Facebook page, Nostalgic with a C, Podblast.
Right,
or nostalgicpodblast.com.
There you have the RCA top load. That was my first projector. My first VHS recorder.
And what does VHS stand for, Al Hardy?
You would ask that, wouldn't you?
Video Home System.
That's right. Video Home System. I told you that. Yeah, it's that's what it stands for.
And again, Betamax was first, but Betamax would only hold 1 hour of content the good speed, SP speed. The cool thing about VHS is they would hold more, like 2 hours in the SP speed and up to 6 hours in the EP speed for what's called a T120. 120 meaning 120 minutes. Or 2 hours.
I'm showing a video now. There were many different style videos. You had later they came out with the home video recorder. You could shoot your own home movies, and they were kind of big and bulky.
Ooh, look at that! It looks really cool. It does look big and bulky, but it looks nostalgic to me. I mean, it just evokes so many memories of renting movies before Blockbuster Video. And we'll get to that. I'm not trying to jump ahead in our chronological history of VHS. But I used to love what. So getting back to my story of our first household. So Jason Chandler was a good buddy of mine back in school, and his family had one like back in 1981. I remember watching For Your Eyes Only, the James Bond movie on video, and I was just enthralled. Now, our household had Showtime and HBO pretty early on, like in the late 70s. I just turned 50, so that's how old I am. I just turned 50 the other day. I'm an old fart. I'm old as dirt.
And now I have a picture up too where you're talking. This is a beta tape and a VHS tape, and you see the difference in size. The beta was smaller. That's why you can only get an hour on the tape, and the VHS later on, at the SP mode, you could get 2 hours.
2 hours, like I said, a T120.
Right. That was the best quality. But then they had other where you could get 4 and then sometimes 6 hours. But that was a really
There's
slow
a T160, which is 160 minutes, and a T180. And there was a place here in the Atlanta, Georgia area called Tape Warehouse that had all sorts of cool supplies, like stuff that was really hard to find. This is before Amazon took over.
I used to buy cassettes, audio cassettes from them. But it's just I never owned a beta. They were just a little too expensive, even more expensive than the VHS. But we'll talk about why VHS actually ended up winning the war against Betamax.
Ooh, won the war. It was a war. And it was expensive to have one of these machines, so I still haven't revealed when we got ours. Because we had HBO and Showtime, my dad's very smart, and he's like a CFO type, and he's a certified public accountant, brilliant man. He would wait for the price to drop, which is what I do. To this day, I learned that from him. And so in 1985, we got our first JVC VHS unit. And you know what the first movie was that we watched when we rented a movie?
Star Wars?
I'll give you a hint. Axel F. All right, Beverly Hills Cop starring Eddie Murphy.
Well, I've got a picture now of the Betamax machine up on.
Look at that. That's a beauty.
That was an expensive machine.
I have a Betamax tape, and I searched and searched my home for it, and I couldn't find it. That's why I was late today, Al Hardy. But thank gosh you have these visual aids to show the people, what we're talking about, especially younger folks. And, I found out that people are collecting videotapes. There's actually a market for them.
Well, there is.
And they were worthless for a long time.
Now, here's a picture of a home unit. Look how big and bulky this is compared to what we have now as the iPhone, which,
Now, that's for shooting movies. That's for motion pictures and sound.
This here is just shooting home movies or whatever you want to see the image.
And that thing put the Super 8 machine out of business. The Super 8 camera.
It did.
Because Super 8, like most of them didn't even have sound. Now you could have sound and video. And I actually brought for the camera our first family JVC video recording system. It's a camera, and it's just like the one that Marty McFly had, the prop one from Back to the Future. Right before Doc Brown gets shot up by the terrorists. I shouldn't have said that. Probably a bot will like flag the show. But in that scene in the beginning of the first Back to the Future and at the end, Marty McFly, and he brings it back to 1955.
So
a camcorder.
This
one.
He brought the camera.
I've got it right here.
Well, show it to the camera. Let me see it.
Okie dokie. Okie dokie, Smokey.
Let me see.
Hold it up for me.
Let me see that. All right.
That's a 1987 model. So Back to the Future was shot in 1984. So that's a little bit newer. It's the same version, same color scheme. It's pretty much the same camera that they used in Back to the Future. And it still works. I'm a hoarder. I keep everything. I throw nothing away.
I do too. I keep
And look,
everything.
it takes little micro cassettes. Look at these micro videotapes. All right, here, let's trade. Again, if you're listening on fistfulofradio.com, hit up our YouTube channel and look for the show called VHS. And you can see all these wonderful toys. And here's the converter. Look, you would drop it in. I don't think I have a battery in this, but look.
Right.
You would put it, this would convert to a standard VHS tape size.
Tape right here.
That's the cassette. And look what it's labeled. That's when I went to New York City in the year 2000, Labor Day weekend, to Manhattan. And I shot, I think I filled up 4 or 5 of those little tapes.
And this is the cartridge you put it in.
Yeah. So that's a JVC product.
They went to a lot of trouble doing this, you know?
I love it, man. I still love it. Before the iPhone, like you said. Okay, so moving on. Now, please continue with the history of video. And hey, again, you have cool examples of professional grade video that we'll get to later in the show from WXIA 11 Alive here in Atlanta, Georgia, an NBC affiliate. Used to be an ABC affiliate before they changed to NBC.
I can show it now. Here, you want your tape back?
Please.
There you go.
Wait
a minute, I couldn't get it closed.
Precious memories are on that, Al. Don't worry about it. I'll close it. Just.
What kind of memories? Are any nudes on here? Any kind of nudes?
Absolutely not.
Oh, I see.
I went to a convention. God, I'm really going to look like a bigger nerd than I am. I went to a convention in Manhattan. I stayed at the Crowne Plaza on Broadway and I think 16th Street. And it was main mission. I wanted to meet Martin Landau, who I eventually met on set when I was working as a featured extra in a Lifetime movie. It was a story of Anna Nicole Smith. Anna Nicole. Right, and Martin Landau played Marshall, the rich guy that she married who was in a wheelchair. Right. And anyway, that's another story.
Well, I want to show you a picture. I worked in the theater business a long time, and I used to work at a theater downtown Atlanta called the Columbia. And it was a big, huge theater. It's been around for a long time. Well,
loved it. And we talked about it on the Podblast.
Right. Before. Really, originally the theater was called the Erlanger back in the vaudeville days. And actually, the Three Stooges actually appeared there back in the 40s. But it was a beautiful theater. It was in downtown Atlanta. It was called the Erlanger. And then it became, when movies became really popular, it became the Atlanta Theater for years and years and years. When all the movie theaters were downtown, here in Atlanta, you had the Atlanta Theater, you had the Rhodes, and you had the Lowe's Grand, and you had, there was one down on Peachtree, I can't remember. But anyway, I worked at the Columbia, later on purchased by Andre Peterse, who was...
I could have met you back then in the 80s, in the late 80s,
I worked there with a friend of mine, Bob Carr, bless his heart. He passed away years ago. But anyway, I worked there as a projectionist, and we could show 35 and 70. Well, anyway, the theater...
70 millimeter for the layman, meaning big projections, twice 35 millimeter.
Right. And so, it was open for quite a few years under the Columbia banner.
Hold it. Wouldn't you say that's the 4K of film, 70 millimeter? Isn't that like the 4K, if you will?
Pretty much.
And it's just huge image.
Well, they brought it back for a little while when they released Tenet. Remember when theaters first opened? They had 70.
The dreadful Tenet.
Yeah,
hated it.
Anyway, they released it in 70. But anyway, when the Columbia Theater finally had to close because the church next door bought the building, to tear it down. It was
That
really
is
sad.
a disgrace.
It was a sad. They bought it. And
We got to tell people it was just one feature on that huge screen at the New
It
Columbia.
was a curved screen. It used to be a Cinerama
Concave.
theater. Yeah, it was concave, a big screen.
I
It
saw The
was-
Living Daylights, James Bond with my friend Jeff Logan in '87 there, and I saw Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home when I was a little kid. I loved it with the whales, where they go back in time.
When they closed the theater, Channel 11 came down and did an interview, and I happened to be the one that they interviewed, and I have it on a U-matic tape, and I still have the tape. Let me show it to you.
Yeah, this is cool. When Al brought this up from his basement of toys, I was astounded. This is neat. Look at that.
It says Columbia closing, and it's got Channel 11's logo.
And you're on it.
I'm on it, yeah. And we're sitting in the theater, and the camera was on me, and you could see the screen and everything, and we were just talking about the Columbia Theater and its history, because it was closing, and they came down to do a story on it because it was such a beautiful theater. And I remember when we played Raiders of the Lost Ark, I mean, the lines were around the block.
I have a video of the New Columbia, and it's on my YouTube channel, not the Nostalgic Podblast YouTube, but I have a personal one. I think it's called, I don't even know. I do acting work on the side. It's called like Chance Acting Demo, I think. But it was a piece from 1986, November 1986, on Fox 5, WAGA TV, that I taped back then because I was a big Star Trek nerd fan because of Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. I fell in love with that movie when I saw it Thanksgiving '86. Anyway, they did a movie review piece, and they interviewed people. And I think there's WSB at the New Columbia, WAGA TV, Fox 5, and WSB is an ABC affiliate here in the Atlanta, Georgia market. Anyway, it's on YouTube, and it's a great piece, and it shows the premiere or the opening of Star Trek IV at the New Columbia, and you see the marquee.
It had a huge marquee.
It's on my YouTube channel.
And this is, like I said, the U-matic tape here that television stations use. They could go out and do portable videos. So this is the U-matic format.
That is so cool. I mean, I used to love renting movies, man. Like before Blockbuster, there was a place at Powers Ferry Landing near Charlie Magruder's for folks in the Georgia area in the United States of America, of course. And they would have a popcorn cart. So when you walked in there, they would give you a box of popcorn when you rented a movie. I thought that was charming. For free.
Well, VHS tape, you know what? 20th Century Fox was really the first studio to embrace the home video market. They were the first ones to say, okay, we'll give it a try. It's not going to work, but we'll give it a try. And so CBS Fox Video released some of the first movies on videotape.
On videotape.
And you know what one of the biggest sellers was?
I know the answer, but show the people.
All right.
Bum, 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 bum.
This is what really set it off. I mean, this movie
Boom, boom,
here
boom,
really
boom.
just made VHS tape really a staple. And it finally won out, of course, over the Betamax. But
A staple like in a centerfold?
yeah.
We'll get to that later.
Well, speaking of that, you know what really saved VHS tape? We'll talk about
Wait, you
that.
mean it won the war against Beta?
Yeah, well, CBS Fox helped.
Yeah.
And, of course, they did it on Betamax, too, but...
Oh, can I tell you something quick? No,
Yeah.
hold that thought. Don't get
All right.
derailed. This is something really illegal that I did. I'm going to reveal pertaining to this Star Wars video that you're looking at right now, or looked at. All right, he just clicked it off, but I was such a nut for Star Wars that I rented it from an independent video chain, and I switched the reels out with a blank videotape. And they tried to figure
You can
out.
get in
I couldn't
trouble.
believe they didn't keep better records. They
You can
couldn't
get-
figure out who did it.
You can get in trouble over that.
I know the statute of limitations, bro. But yeah, I switched it out, so I kept a copy of Star Wars that
I'm
I
gonna
swapped
turn you
out.
in. I'm gonna turn
And
you
that thing
in.
was the videotapes cost like $100 back then for a big feature like that. It was not cheap. Now you need to speak to this again. Hold your thought. What you're about to say. Where does Laserdisc fit into this in terms of home movie rentals? Which was first? Was VHS or Laserdisc first? I think it was Laserdisc. Or am I wrong?
No,
It was
Laserdisc
VHS.
came later.
Ah, well, but there was something called video disc in the late 70s. Not Laserdisc, it was called video disc. And in the mid 70s.
RCA had planned to release a home video market in the beginning called Selectavision. Magatape. That was, But what happened was, they came out with a video disc that used a needle. It was like, you put...
A needle, like a record, like a phonograph?
Yes, you put the cassette or the movie into the machine. It was very wide, and it used a needle to play the movie.
That's why I love doing this show, man, because, Lord forbid, long after we're gone, this is a history lesson, but it's not boring. We try not to be boring. I love the information that you give out.
It was a
in this show.
needle-based system, and RCA had put that out, but and JVC put it out with the high-density disc, and it used a needle, which led to later the laser disc. And that became the favorite of videophiles.
I have one, but please continue. I'll just dig it up.
And I have all of my laser discs still. And so, laser discs were a lot better quality over VHS tape. And so what happened was the videophiles purchased the laser disc. And it's kind of like, I guess now, of course, DVDs and Blu-rays. But, you can look at a laser disc on a regular tube CRT television, and it looks okay. But
that's true. But a tube TV, a TV with a tube, a non-LED.
If you show a laser disc on, a modern television, it doesn't look very good.
It looks like...
It looks bad. It looks like a bad videotape, actually. And that's why, last weekend you helped me move one of my TVs back in the living room.
I did. A TV that Tom Williams, our friend, gave you.
Yeah, a long time ago. And it's a widescreen television, and it's a tube. And Laserdisc looks fine on it. That's what I got it for, just to watch.
And for the nerds out there like us, what input was in that TV, which is kind of cool for a tube TV?
Well, it had
HDMI.
It had an HDMI plug on it, but I'm using the S video on it right now. But and it looks fine, for a laser disc. It looks fine on an old television.
I'm trying not to jump around here. I do have a laser disc. I just want to explain that I started collecting video because of that Star Trek, The Wrath of Khan. I'm sorry, Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. There be whales here. Paramount was putting individual episodes, this is before DVD, onto videotape. And in 1985, I saw a really cool display in Turtles Records and Tapes, a record store in Atlanta.
Turtles Records and Tapes.
I've never seen this display online. I've searched for it. It was the coolest cardboard display. It said Star Trek, now on video. They would release 10 episodes every quarter. Here's the first videotape I ever bought, and it's a Star Trek episode called Arena, where Captain Kirk is fighting a giant lizard called a Gorn. Please show the front and back of that. And guess what? These cost $14.95 retail before taxes. And they would be found in Camelot Music as well. Walden Books, B. Dalton booksellers started carrying videotapes for purchase.
But when VHS tape first came out, they were not cheap. Some of them were $100. They were $99. And so what happened was they decided that, after a couple of years, people were not really buying. They were going to video rental stores and renting, but they weren't buying. And so they just lowered the price to $19.95 across the board.
Across the board.
And people, bought them up. I bought them up for $19.95.
Who wouldn't? Now, and they also released the Honeymooners Kinescopes because the Lost episodes came out on Showtime exclusively in 1984 from Jackie Gleason Enterprises, and MPI Home Video released them in 85. I collected those as well, but Star Trek's what got me hooked on video.
And that's the Laserdisc.
And this is the Laserdisc of Star Trek. That's the only Laserdisc I brought today, ladies and gentlemen, front and back, if you don't mind. 2 episodes. Look at the front. Look at Captain Kirk on top of Yeoman Rand. In that episode, he split into 2 halves, a good half and an evil half, and he does an attempted rape. I mean, I couldn't believe the crap they got away with back in the mid-'60s on television.
Now, we showed
brutal
Laserdisc
scene.
Before. This is what they look like.
Yeah.
Okay.
That. Yeah.
Actually show the disc.
Again, if you're listening on Fistful of Radio, please go to our YouTube and subscribe so you know when we're live.
You can see the reflection of the studio.
Or our Facebook page, even better. Nostalgic with a C. NOSTALGIC.
But look
But
look how big that is compared to a DVD or Blu-ray.
Podblast, PODBLAST. Like it, please. Help us out. We'll do this for free.
And this was the format the videophiles loved. They embraced it. Now, the average collector did not embrace the format.
Did you notice I kept my Laserdisc in plastic? I would always open it from the side.
Yeah.
And did you notice the price tag? I'll just tell $34.95 for 2 lousy episodes of Star Trek on Laserdisc.
Well, they were expensive. I bought Laserdiscs that were $50 and $60. And now you go to you go like to Book Nook and you pay $1 for them, or maybe 50 cents. That's why I just kept mine.
Tell him about our friend Jonathan Chase, what he did at WTZA Radio when we were on one of our last days. He dumped off a big batch of Laserdiscs he got in a house he was remodeling.
Well,
Chase Remodels is his company.
Right. They actually gave it. He brought them to me, and so it was. So I have 3 players. So I don't play.
But you got them all. I got like maybe Die Hard, the movie on laser. But poor Al, I say this out of love.
Now,
you got every disc in that.
But wait a minute, I was been there all day long working.
That's
Remember,
true.
He came in and did a show
for money. You were working for real money.
Well, that's why I got laid off because
we don't want to talk about that.
No, okay, we won't go in.
Do you really want to?
No.
Okay.
But it's just like I said. I never watch videotapes anymore. I got rid of most of mine. I still have. I don't know, 25 or 30. I kept the movies because of the box. I like the covers, and so. But I took most of mine to Goodwill back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Now you brought some more. You want to show the audience some more?
Oh yeah, I'm just loving listening to the history of video.
All right, give me All
right, well here's the last Star Trek. Like I said, they released them every. I want to show them the last. That's the last one. Let me just quickly say, from 1985 to 1988, every 3 months they'd release a batch of 10. And what was neat, they haven't done this on the DVDs except in a separate section. They'd leave in like a 60-minute trailer of the next week's episode. And if you'll allow me, Al, I want to play a quick clip of one of those quick 60-second trailers. And this is for the very first episode that I referenced earlier where Kirk's fighting a giant lizard. Listen to this. Here's the trailer that was on the videotapes. Boom.
Captain's log, stardate 3045.6. The Enterprise has responded to a call from Cestus 3. On landing, we have discovered that the outpost has been destroyed. How can you explain a massacre like that?
You must make certain that the alien vessel never reaches its home base.
I intend to. Firing phases, Captain.
If I could help him, I would. I cannot.
We destroyed invaders, as I shall destroy you.
Whose voice is that? Ted Cassidy as the Gorn. Lurch from the Addams Family. Who's no longer with us.
I'll destroy you.
Okay, so that was a little trailer I just wanted to share with everybody from that's the first videotape I ever bought. Episode of Star Trek.
I don't remember the first one I ever bought. I don't know.
You probably were given it. You're the king of getting free stuff.
No. I bought it, but I really don't remember. I remember when I worked at Turner.
Ted Turner, WTCG, WTBS, Superstation 17.
After Ted bought MGM, the film library, they opened up a video lending service for employees only. And it was downstairs, and they had a huge selection of movies on VHS tape, and they were free to employees, and I checked them out all the time. And so therefore I didn't have to go buy a lot, because when I worked at Turner, I would just go down there whenever I had some free time and pick out a movie. And the thing about it is, you could keep it until you finish watching it. You didn't have to return it the next day, where most rental places you had to return it.
That's a good point. Let's talk about rental late fees.
Yeah, they were.
That was a big money maker. That was a cash cow for those
because
video
most
companies.
People did not take it back the next day.
Be kind, rewind.
No, well,
remember that? Be kind, rewind. I always rewound.
But they sold, just winders. They would put it in a rewind if you didn't do that. But yeah, video stores, still they were popular. I love Blockbuster. I used to go to Blockbuster all the time, and we had one near me. It's closed years ago. It was called Screenplay Video, and he specialized in really obscure stuff, and I really liked the place. And he was close to me here. Where I live, and he's long gone. But Blockbuster, I remember when Blockbuster came around, I saw these big signs that said Blockbuster, and it looked like a ticket.
Like a movie ticket.
I didn't know what it was, because it didn't say video; it just said Blockbuster. I said, what is Blockbuster? And then, of course, it became Blockbuster Video. I have their logo. Let me find it here. Hang on.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take over and mention the next show I collected. I'm such a nerd. Oh, before that, how about music videos. That was a huge seller with VHS tape, and I have here a Duran Duran Video 45. I know. My man card, if I ever had one, is there's a flag on the field right now for me holding this up, but it's Duran Duran Video 45 VHS, and I'll have Al show that later up close and personal. And then I have a Queen. This was a great series from MPI Home Video, who I mentioned, that released The Honeymooners, on Queen, the band, Freddie Mercury. This was released in 1989. It was a 3 VHS set called Queen, The Magic Years. Will you hold that up, please?
Let me see.
Music was huge in the video market. Concerts. We're talking official releases and not just the bootlegs. And we'll talk about bootleg video later in the show. But, all right, that's good. And then this is the Duran Duran. I have somewhere like all their music videos on one videotape, including Girls on Film, which was a very naughty music video by Duran Duran. It was censored and banned by MTV. Because, well, I guess that's a family show. I'll just not go into too much detail about it. It's just got women on poles and whipped cream, and they're nude.
Of course, I told you how Duran Duran got their name.
From the film Barbarella?
Yeah.
That was the villain.
Yeah, Duran Duran.
Yes.
One of my favorite movies. I don't know, starred Jane Fonda, but I liked it.
Now, moving along with the videos, Outer Limits was released on video. They copied Star Trek for Paramount. Was a huge seller on video.
I used to watch Outer Limits when it came on. I think it was on ABC when it came out.
It was 1963 to January 1965. It lasted a season and a half. It featured monsters. It was kind of like an hour-long Twilight Zone. I think Twilight Zone's a little bit better thanks to Rod Serling's writing, but The Outer Limits featured some excellent writing as well by the likes of Harlan Ellison, who everyone knows that's a nerd like me.
So you paid,
very accomplished sci-fi writer.
You paid $14.95 for it?
I did. I sure did, and that's my favorite episode. And look on the cover. Who is that? What actor is that? Don't cheat. Don't read it. David McCallum, who the next year would be in The Man from U.N.C.L.E.,
Mm-hmm.
who played Ilya, the Russian.
Now, if you have a Roku box, the Roku channel runs.
They sure do.
They have all of these, or you can watch anytime you want.
They look better than the doggone DVDs. I don't know if these have been released on Blu-ray yet. Outer Limits, but they have on DVD.
Well, Chance got a Roku for Christmas. You hooked it up yet?
Not yet. And then no, my birthday, not Christmas. Christmas hasn't happened yet.
Oh, your birthday. That's right.
But
yeah,
the Outer Limits, and gosh, I lost my train of thought about Outer Limits. Doggone it.
That's okay.
Hate it when that happens.
It'll come back to you.
So anyway, I collected all of those. There's only 48 episodes.
It happens when you turn 50. You start losing it.
Now, I remember what I was going to say.
Likewise.
All right. Who put out the Outer Limits? Who distributed it? You know that. MGM.
MGM UA.
MGM UA, United Artists. So,
yeah.
And then there's stuff on VHS that you can't find in any other format. Just like we're both big film collectors, you can't find some of the stuff we have on film.
I don't have I have a VHS in the living room in there. So like it's like a VHS DVD.
It's a converter.
It's a converter
by Toshiba.
But we put a disc in, it wouldn't play. I think I don't know.
No, the DVD played. You mean a VHS you put in and it wouldn't play.
Yeah.
I think it's just broken.
Yeah,
but look, here's a Donnie Marie double cassette. I'm going to show you some different sizes of videotapes. Look at this, guys. Sorry, fistfulofradio.com listeners. This is very visual. Just you could go to our Facebook page and YouTube channel. I've said this 3 or 4 times ad nauseum. Nostalgic Podblast, nostalgicpodblast.com.
Only a geek would buy this.
A geek? No. Donnie Marie, they're talented, man. I know they're not.
They were talented, but
they're not Steely Dan. But
I just don't picture you watching the Donnie and Marie show.
I like Marie. I've said this many times. By the way,
know you have,
this weekend, if you're watching live, please tune in tomorrow to fistfulofradio.com between 2 and 5 p.m. We're playing a Christmas show with our good friend Danny, who incidentally will be back next week, December 6th, which is Sunday. We'll be back on track on Sunday with a special pop culture Christmas nostalgic podblast right here.
I watched that show, but I just...
Donnie Marie?
I could do without it. That's just my opinion. I'm sorry.
You did say your line. Just say it. Just say
I
it.
didn't really care for it.
There you go. There's your line.
My favorite line.
Some interesting variations on VHS of the movie Grease, for instance. Listen to my laptop.
What is that?
It's screwing up. There's some sort of magnetic... Let me just shut it off. That's classic.
That's your drive.
I think I screwed up my laptop. Hold this up for the camera. That's Grease. I want to explain something. There is actually something... God dang. I'm going to shut this down. All right. In the movie Grease on VHS, there is a line or a sound that Olivia Newton-John makes that was muted in the DVD release and the sing-along theatrical release. I'm shutting my computer down. All right, towards the end of the movie, before they sing that song,
You need to take that bracelet off.
I know it's interfering with my laptop. All right, at the end when they sing, "We go together like," and they're in a carnival, right? A school carnival to start the summer after they graduate. Anyway, what is that machine? Like the sledgehammer thing with the bell? You know, where someone hits, it's like a strong man.
Yeah.
What's it called? I don't know.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
can't
you know
remember.
where someone hits a sledgehammer against the base, and the little metal piece goes up and you try to ring the bell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think Danny Zuko, John Travolta as Danny Zuko, hits the bell and Olivia Newton-John goes, "Woo!" Like she makes this sound. And I swear it's on the video. I know it sounds like a very minor point, but to me, I think it's important.
Only you would bring that up.
When they remastered the sound,
nobody else even would notice that.
I'm an Olivia Newton-John fan.
Well,
Among other things, I'm a fan of a lot of stuff. But I'm telling you, it's really cool. I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel because I think I could get away with 5 seconds of copyrighted stuff on my YouTube channel. But no, seriously, the bell is hit, ding, she goes, "Woo!" And it was kind of sexy the way she said it. And for some reason, when they remixed the sound, they only did one channel, in stereo, and she was muted. I just think it's weird. So there's all sorts of things you can find on video you can't find anywhere else. And
yeah, but you most people are not going to invest in another player. Now you can buy a new VHS machine, Amazon sells them, but nobody. I mean, there are certain people out there. I saw a special on Amazon Prime about VHS collectors, and there are people that's all they collect, and there's also people all they collect are Laserdisc. That's their format. They're not.
Isn't that cool?
Well, there's a guy. He lives somewhere in North Carolina.
Are we recording, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
He had a video. Why would you say that?
Because it went dark. Your monitor.
That's because if you don't.
All right, just go on. Okay.
Let me worry about that. But anyway, this guy had a video store, for years and years and years, and he amassed thousands and thousands of VHS.
He's an older gentleman.
He's an older guy.
Yeah. And
so he still runs the video store, but he sells, a lot of his tapes now for $9.99. Anybody, all his tapes are $9.99, and he sells
$10.
But
10 spot.
But one thing about VHS tape, there were movies that came out on VHS tape that were really drive-in type movies. They were just like, they weren't mainstream movies. A lot of them were made by independent people, and they put them on videotape. And it also led to a lot of people shooting a movie on VHS tape. And they became really popular. They had really nice covers on them and everything, and people seek this stuff out. All these different titles of these horror and slasher movies on VHS tape that you can't find anywhere else. They're
typically low-budget movies that were made straight for video.
Yeah,
and went straight to video.
Very low, but a lot of people collect those, and this guy sells a lot of them, and so that's. That makes them collect VHS tape because these movies aren't going to show up on DVD or Blu-ray, so that's why they collect. But tape will eventually go bad. But what really led to VHS tape was a cassette tape. That was a first.
That's what we talked about earlier. I was asking you, is the 8-track cassette and the cassette tape the pre-runner or the grandfather of the videotape?
Well, yes, basically. But it was a home market for music, and then they became the home market for video and movies.
Now, do you remember doing this? I did this. Before the VHS, I would get an audio tape and an audio tape recorder, and I would record the sound of my favorite TV show.
I used to do that.
And the great thing about VHS is that you could do the video and the sound. It was quite a revolutionary invention at the time.
Right.
And I still love video.
I used to have a portable cassette recorder. I used to hang the microphone in front of the TV speaker and record it.
You did?
But it wasn't cassette. It was little reel-to-reel tapes, a little home recorder.
Now,
I used to do that.
Do you remember, what was the name of that company? I know this, and I'm just testing you. I know you know it too. That would offer like 12 albums for a penny.
Columbia House.
Correct, and they got into the video market. When Star Trek started all, when the Paramount Star Trek episodes sold like hotcakes, then you had MGA with Outer Limits, like we talked about, and then Columbia House got into the act, and they'd release 2 episodes of various shows.
What people will do, you could buy like an album, you could get like 10 albums for a penny or whatever, and then they would cancel.
Oh, yeah, because then they would charge out the yin-yang after that.
Right.
You'd get that stack, and you were obligated to buy the next round.
And it was like plus
expensive.
Shipping.
It was more than Turtles or Peach's record store.
I was a member of their CD club for a while. And I remember they used to ship CDs, and the CDs were $27.95. And then you had to pay shipping on that. But anyway, what is this, The Incredible Hulk?
Incredible Hulk, that's, I think, 2 episodes. I like that cover. Publicity still. And here's another TV show from Columbia House, Wonder Woman, starring Linda Carter. If you notice, this is sealed in plastic. Very cool, huh?
Well, Chance,
hold that up for the
Chance
camera.
kind of a geek. You don't know. Can I open this up?
No!
Let me open it
It's
up.
sealed. What are you doing?
Well,
You trying to give me a heart attack?
it doesn't do any good
You
sealed
trying
up.
to give me a heart attack?
How can you watch it when it's sealed up? Do you watch any of this stuff? Probably not.
On Blu-ray and 16mm film. I just collect the video because I like the artwork. And there were different kinds of cases, like clamshell cases. Here's a clamshell case. A clamshell case
Yeah, I remember.
opens up. Hold that up and open it
I
up
had
to
a
the
bunch
camera.
of those. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an Incredible Hulk episode, cartoon show from the 80s, from 1982, that Stan the Man Lee narrated.
Well, this is how the... yeah. Actually, these were nice cases, actually. They protected your tape.
In the first Outer Limits, the first 3 episodes came in a clamshell, and then they got cheap and went to the cardboard sleeves.
Yeah, they did. Well, these were expensive. But, you can recycle those.
And I've got to admit, I did dabble in the black market. I sold some bootleg videotapes on eBay 20-some years ago, and shows that weren't out on DVD. Right before DVDs came out, and here's
And
a
of
tape.
course
Look at this
it
case.
has to be the
it's
Fall
the Fall
Guy.
Guys. Just hold up just the front, because look at that.
Your computer's messed up.
I know. I've killed it. I've killed it.
There is the Fall Guy.
Yeah, and that's a case that that was made. A lady and I designed that together. There's no back on that one. I do have a back, but I grabbed the wrong one off my shelf, because there is a nice back with Marky Post in a pink bikini. Not Heather Thomas, Marky Post. Oh, no, that's my old address. What? Don't hold that up. God, are you crazy? That's my old address. That's a check someone mailed me to buy that. Don't.
Fujifilm
God.
made this. I wasn't going to show you your address. I just wanted to scare you a little bit.
You did.
Yeah.
You're trying to kill me today. Now, here's a nice bootleg of the show called Spectre Man. I didn't make this case. Look how crappy that case looks. Spectre Man was a Japanese show, and
Well, first of all, why would anybody want this?
because of nostalgia, sir. Spectre Man was made in the 70s, right after the Planet of the Apes movies took off.
I saw some of these, and they were horrible.
You did? They ran on Superstation 17.
I know, but they were just it's poor animation, in my opinion. But, you like what you like. I understand.
Well, I got a quick clip from that video. I think you're going to dig this if I can find it.
Wait a minute. Do
This
they
is
talk
the video.
about VHS
Yes,
tape?
yes. Spectre Man. Again, it was dubbed into American English from Japan, and it had a theme that
You're going to have to do something about that computer.
I'm going to shut it off in a minute. All right, here we go. Am I potted up?
Go ahead. It's not very long, is it?
No, it's short. Spectre Man. Leave me mic'd up. Spectre Man.
Now, where does it say VHS tape on here?
It's going to. This is a VHS tape bootleg.
Does it mention on VHS tape?
What do you think of that song?
I think it stinks.
Listen, exactly. It does. It sucks.
It's horrible.
That's the beauty of it. It sucks. Listen to those lyrics. I'm gonna cut it, but listen.
Yeah.
Listen to this. Listen to this. Don't you like that music a little bit?
No.
It doesn't. Well, see, for people my age, this would evoke some strong memories. All right, I'll cut it off.
Yeah, but
And then look at this. Here's another bootleg I designed of The Invaders, starring Roy Thinnis. Now that's a cool case. I scanned some Gold Key comic book covers, and of him holding the gun in the back. Will you hold the back up real quick? Look at that. Now, see, the gun, that's from a Gold Key comic book. They put out comics in the 60s when this show was on the air on ABC. There were only 4 issues, and I scanned them into a scanner and just sort of designed this case. So I'm telling on myself a little bit today. Oh,
Yeah.
Now, do you remember Schoolhouse Rock?
I have an album of all these songs.
That's on video. VHS of all the Schoolhouse Rock, or most of them, like the greatest hits, as it were.
Well, I like Schoolhouse Rock. I thought it was pretty cool.
And I recorded so much stuff on video, like the last Late Night with David Letterman NBC show in '93, and stuff well before that. I have, and I sent you a photo, which we're not going to show today. I'll probably post it on our social media pages, but I have stacks to this day of videotapes, all types of tapes. Kodak, remember the brands? JVC, Fujifilm. Fuji was the best. And do you remember Super VHS?
I remember.
Tell people what Super VHS is.
Well, it's just a higher end tape. I mean, you could.
It was more expensive, and
Yeah.
it was pretty much professional grade.
I went for the cheapo stuff because I really didn't.
Nah.
I didn't really record a lot of stuff anyway. I bought more movies on tape that were. I didn't like recording off television. I just didn't.
You didn't care for it.
I didn't care for it. You
Yeah,
know, you had
you
the
didn't care for it.
commercials, and I remember when HBO came around, I recorded some of that stuff, but I don't know. I just didn't record a whole lot of stuff. So
I did. And I saved it all, and I'm in the process of converting everything to DVD because tell the folks what you told me, that VHS is not like audio tape. Audio tape will last a lot longer than a videotape.
Well, VHS tape will not last. Just the oxide on a video cassette. I don't know what it is about it, but eventually it's kind of like it'll stick together. I've actually had tapes I've tried to play in the past when I had a recorder that actually worked. That it would not play the tape. It would actually pull it out of the cassette and then wrap it around the little drum. And so, but VHS tape,
it'll snap. Like sometimes if you have an older like I like the VHS units that will like slow down when it rewinds, and some don't slow down. And
most
tape will just snap.
most of them did slow down. It didn't come to an abrupt stop. Most of them would slow down when it got to the.
Some of the machines I had, the early models didn't do that, and I lost a lot of tape because of that.
Well, yeah, it would pull the splice apart.
And I try to repair it myself. You ever take apart a videotape? Take the screws out, and that's a cumbersome task, man. It's tough
really
to do that.
It's really not worth it, to try to do that. But even back then when VHS was, once if it broke, then it was basically ruined. You wouldn't need that.
Well, I have some audio pertaining to video. I'd like to play if I'm potted up.
What is this you're going to play?
It's part of the history of video. Ready?
Yeah, play it.
VCR is right for you.
Here's an ad for one of the first
Home media
VHS versus.
has an interesting history. What started out as silent black and white projections on blank walls in homes has evolved into now having the ability to watch movies in your basement on a certified IMAX private theater. Many of us have witnessed the rise and fall of VHS and seen full HD morph into 4K with 8K TVs now on the horizon. With technology changing so much, it's easy to forget how much has happened to us to get us where we are today.
But suppose it's over 3 hours. Relax. Panasonic VHS takes up to 4 hours of sports, movies, specials on one cassette.
Take a short trip down nostalgia lane with me to relearn a short history of home entertainment.
No, let's not. I just wanted to play that little brief piece. We're going to take it from here, Guy. Thank you. That was Movie University on YouTube. Actually, it's a pretty cool channel if you want to look at it. But it goes over the history of VHS. But you know what? We're the professors today, right, Al Hardy? We don't need that guy.
No. Well, I talked earlier. There was a format that actually helped propel VHS tape to what it is. Not only was CBS Fox, release Star Wars and all those great movies on. They were the first company that actually embraced the format. But they were helped propel VHS tape to what it is. Not only was you need to turn your computer off.
I'm gosh darn trying. I'm about to say a bad word.
Folks, Chance is terrible on a laptop computer.
No, I'm not. That's bull.
Only with the show.
That's bull.
Yeah.
Go on. Well, tell us about that dark industry.
All right. Hang on a minute.
Say it. Say it.
Adults only. This is actually what really propelled VHS tape, because the first adult movies came out for home on VHS tape, and so that's really embraced the VHS format, and it was it made lots and lots of money for the video companies when they embraced this format. You could just, instead of going to an adult movie theater, watch it at home.
Oh, I'll be. Jeez.
Did you?
Yeah, in the comfort of your own home, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
No, I didn't really mess with that stuff because we had we didn't have Dad. My dad has a lot of classic. We never had the Playboy channel. Do you remember the Playboy channel?
I never.
We're
had
digressing.
That I didn't have that either.
No, we really didn't. I'm lying. Of course, I had a couple dirty movies on VHS. I had to hide growing up. Gosh, yes. Gosh, yes. Who
Well,
didn't?
Well, you know, I had
If you say you didn't have one, you're lying.
No, I had some. Actually, I gave you some of mine, remember? But you said...
Unbelievable.
It was Sonny.
Right on cue.
He heard that.
Unbelievable, sir.
That's Sonny. He wants to come in. Can you open the door?
No. All right.
Daddy man.
He's a good dog. He doesn't chew stuff up, I noticed.
Hey, Sonny.
Come on in, Sonny. I was trying to block out Shameless. We've been watching a Shameless marathon on Showtime. Great show.
I'll do that as one more thing. I love that.
We'll get to that.
You know. But yeah, Sonny came in to visit. But that's the format that actually saved VHS tape for the longest. And now for that type of show, they don't need DVDs or it's all online. You know. And the thing about it is, speaking of online, a lot of movies now with the technology, they're streaming movies. And Chance and I went to the movies yesterday and saw the last premiere. And we were talking to the manager of the theater, and we talked about Wonder Woman. You had that VHS tape. Well, the new version comes out in December.
Christmas Day.
Wonder Woman 1984. Now you can close the door. Wonder Woman 1984. And so, therefore, they're going to release the movie in theaters, and at the same time, they're going to stream it. But the stream's only going to be up for a week or two. Then they're going to take it down, and then it'll be in the theater. So you have to. But yeah, streaming, you can just watch anything you want now online.
But like I said to Tom at lunch, that's not enough time, 30 days in a COVID world, to allow people to get back to the theater to see it. That's stupid.
Well, I think if the movie does well, I think they'll keep it longer than that. Really, I do.
I hope so. I mean, It seems like a lot of bad business decisions are being made in terms of the movie theater industry right now. Like Regal shutting down completely in the United States of America.
There was no reason for that.
And theaters starting at 4 p.m. and only being open Thursday through Sunday. What about retirees? What about you, Al Hardy?
Oh, no, I like to go to the movies. We went yesterday to the 4 o'clock
I'm
show.
sorry, but a lot of people don't want to see a movie around a bunch of kids, and we like to go when kids are in school. Right?
Well, the movies we saw.
Nothing against children. I love kids.
Yeah.
Now, the reason my laptop was screwing up, my sweet niece made me a friendship bracelet, and there's this little metallic gizmo on it. All right, it's like a little metal charm, and when I hold it to a certain part of my laptop, it gets magnetic, and I think it's screwing up the processor. Well, I need to move it to my right arm.
What's more important to you, the laptop or the bracelet?
Well, of course, the laptop. But no, actually, no, that's a tough question. Because the bracelet means a lot to me, too, because I love my family, and these are great kids.
But,
Molly made it.
But if you want your laptop to be screwed up, then, you take the bracelet and hang it up somewhere in your room and keep it that way. That's what I would do. I wouldn't want to mess up my computer. Oh, by the way, I want to thank Chance's mother for sending me some food. I love the the deviled eggs. They were delicious.
I'm so embarrassed. Yeah, my mom's the best, but gosh, I sound so silly.
But Chance, he said, "Can I have one of those deviled eggs?" I said, "No, you got some at home." I ate all 4 of them. They're all gone. They were good.
Actually, no, you offered me some, and
I did.
I'm the one that said, no, I want you to enjoy them.
Well, yeah.
God, you just lied.
Well, I have to make you look bad. I'm just kidding.
Well, I can do that on my own very well. Thank you very much.
That's true.
As evidenced on this program. Here's a tape of stuff that I recorded. This has got the last Late Night with David Letterman on it. I need to convert that to VHS. If you can hold that side up to the camera, I'd very much appreciate it. Where you can see my crazy left-handed handwriting. And that stuff I recorded, I think there's SCTV on there. Man, I have got mounds of videotapes. Still, it takes up so much space.
Well, what are you going to do with all this stuff?
I'm going to convert it. I've already started converting the DVD.
It will go bad eventually.
We got some Facebook comments I need to address.
Yeah, address those.
Oh, about your mix you're going to take tomorrow. Michael Hopkins says you can mix it with lemon lime Gatorade.
Oh, okay.
In terms of your colonoscopy.
Yeah.
Jeff Logan says, tell the Porky's editing story. Oh, hopefully he'll call in with that. But if he doesn't, I'll try to say it. Our number is
give us a call.
Our number is 678-615-7560. It's right there on the screen. What are your memories of renting movies, of the invention of the VHS machine, getting it in your household? It was a big frickin' deal.
Well, I used to love to go to the video store. I really, as much as I like going to the movies, I like going to the video store and seeing what they had.
Man, I did too.
And there was, out here where I live now, there were plenty of places. There was Blockbusters close by, several of them, and there was like mom and pop video stores. There was one around the corner from me. It was in a shopping center where an A&P grocery store was, and of course that's long gone. And I can't remember, but she had some of the most bizarre movies.
We have a caller.
Hello, who is this? Hello.
Nostalgic Podblast.
Hey, Chance, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff,
Yeah.
will you refresh my memory about this Porky story you posted on our Facebook page about?
It's one of my favorite stories of all time. So, Chance and I, we rent the movie Porky's. And Chance gets it into his brain that he's going to edit all the naughty parts.
I forgot.
And in those days, if you put it was like a square at the end of the VHS tape. If you put a piece of tape over it, you could record over it. So we get to all the naughty parts and record. I don't know, like the local news or something like that for the entire movie.
That's evil.
And we thought that was the funniest thing ever. So of course we return the movie. We tell our friend. This is the funny part. Our friend thinks it's hilarious. He goes and rents it. He watches it, thinks it's hilarious. He turns it back in. Well, it got rented again, and those people complained and said this videotape's been tampered with. Well, they go back to the previous renter and charge them, whatever it was, $90, $100 for the tape.
You were bad. You were bad.
I forgot all about that, Jeff.
I love that story. I thought it was hilarious. It took us like an hour to do all.
I never did any of that.
Taking that tape apart and then having to edit it.
Why would you do something like that?
Because I could.
Because you're going to get busted.
We're going to do a show about practical jokes.
Did get busted. Our friend got busted. That was the funny part.
Yeah, he took the rap.
Well,
yeah,
he was crazy to take the rap for something he didn't do. Oh well.
But they didn't care. He was the last person to rent it, so therefore he was the one to blame.
Well, this friend got back at me. His name's Scott. I won't say his last name, and he stole my first edition Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book, which is worth a small fortune now. He stole it from me. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I talked to a video guy once, and he told me, he said he could always tell which movie was the most popular because, if it had a scene in it that somebody liked, they wanted to see it over and over, they would stop it, back it up, play it, stop it, back it up, and play it. And what happens over a period of time, that puts a video line in the scene itself, and it would roll up the screen. And he said he could always tell which tape was the most popular because it would just, tape couldn't take that abuse. If you play it, back it up, pause it, or whatever, videotape, you couldn't do that. So you could do it, but it was hell on the video cassette. So
God, growing up, Jeff would spend the night. I would torture him and make him watch Space 1999 episodes I recorded
Jeff.
off VHS off WVEU 69 Atlanta.
I remember one time I fell asleep in the middle of an episode, and the next morning he goes, "Hey, I stopped it where you fall asleep."
Let's pick up where we left off.
Yeah,
it'll be more exciting this time.
Yeah, he likes that cheesy stuff. I never really cared for it, but that's okay. Everybody didn't like the same thing.
Jeff, do you remember at Turtles Records and Tapes? God, there was this cool display of the Star Trek episodes back in like 1985. It was cardboard. I can see it in my mind. I've never seen it on. Okay, well, that's just.
I heard you were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
I don't remember them selling movies there. I just remember you had to get concert tickets there and tapes and all that.
Where was this at again?
Turtles Records and Tapes. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jeff. What was that?
I don't remember movies from there. I remember I used to get mine from. Remember Richway? It was like before Target.
Yeah.
Before Target.
Yeah.
Yeah. My first one was Die Hard. I bought it from there.
I don't remember. I think my first movie was actually what did I buy? I think it was Star Wars. I think it was that was a big deal. Yeah. First one I bought.
And it was flat. It was it was cropped, so you didn't see the stuff on the side and
well,
CinemaScope.
that was before widescreen That was when you still had your conventional TV. They weren't set up for widescreen movies, and so therefore they adapted it for the small screen.
And what was that process called? Pan scan.
It was a pan and scan. Yeah.
Scan, yeah.
It's just like if or say you see an actor in the scene, but he was talking to the other side of the image, the TV. You couldn't see him. The camera would slowly pan over to that person and then pan back.
Jeff, do you remember seeing, I know you do, The Living Daylights with me at the New Columbia Theater that Al was talking about?
That was a great theater. That was an amazing place.
You know, I
was working there. You know, what's the crazy thing is,
I was the projectionist there, and so I was working at Turner at the time. But you know, a couple of times during the week when I got off at Turner at 5 o'clock, I would go down to the Columbia and relieve Bob at 6 o'clock, and I would be there until closing time. That was a long day for me. And then I was there on the weekends, but I was probably there running the projectors when you were there. Yeah, I was in the booth.
That's friggin' wild.
Yeah,
Small world.
Yeah, it is. And I remember when we played Aliens, it came out, and the theater was just packed. You know, and a lot of people come to see Aliens, and so. But yeah, it was good. It was a fun place to work at the time.
Was that the last movie that played there? You think? No, that was '86, and
the last movie there was a James Bond movie.
The Living Daylight.
That was the last movie that played there.
Now, are you sure it wasn't the one after that in '89 with Timothy Dalton called License to Kill?
That's it. I think it was a Bond movie. Maybe that was it then. That was the last movie we played, and so only because the church next door. I think it's Presbyterian. I'm not really sure.
Oh, it makes me so mad.
They bought the property because they needed to expand the church in a parking lot, and so they offered Andre Peterse a ton of money for that property, and he sold it, and so then. Rest is history, of course.
Isn't that it's a total shame that this church bought out a historic theater just to level it?
It wasn't because he was not making money there, but it was just, I don't know.
He sold out.
He sold out. Well, he went back to South Africa. That's where he's from, and he was a white guy, but he's from South Africa.
What does that mean?
Well,
South Africa. Okay.
All right, forget I said it. But anyway, he moved back to South Africa, and so rest is history. But he also owned another theater in Atlanta called the Garden Hills, down on Peachtree. He owned that theater as well. And so,
I'm glad you got to meet Jeff yesterday at Book Nook 2, future sponsor of the Nostalgic Podblast.
Well, Jeff didn't hang around
I
there.
didn't stay long.
I didn't stay long either because, actually I picked out a movie I was going to buy. And so I actually took the DVD. I was going to buy a copy of Gone with the Wind on DVD. I don't have it. And so it was half price. It was $8. And so I took it up there, and they have to pull the DVD and put it in the case. And so I said, I'll be back. And so when I went to go pick it up, the line was just almost to the door. People, I said, forget that. I just left. I didn't buy it. I wasn't going to wait in line. Because, Chance, he stayed there another hour or so, I guess, didn't you?
Yeah. It took about an hour to wait in line to pay.
Yeah, so I wasn't going to wait that long. I left. So.
And some dude in the back was like coughing, and I was afraid of the COVID, man. I hightailed out of there as soon as I could.
Well, like I said earlier, I had my COVID test on Friday, and I'm negative. Yay!
That's good. Yeah. Hey, before Jeff leaves, will you hold up for the camera the Space 1999?
Here you go, Jeff.
With Sybil Danning introducing the episodes front and back. Look at her all dolled up. It'll take a second, Jeff, for you to see it if you're watching online. Turn it over, Al. Let's show the back to the camera if you don't mind. Yeah. Look at Sybil Danning there. Wait for it. But she was just like a space slut there, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, good grief.
Sealed. It's sealed. Look, at that videotape is sealed. I could sell that. Maybe I should.
I don't know. Maybe you should.
That's my story.
All right. Well, hey, go Dogs. Go Dogs tonight, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling, Jeff.
Thanks
Talk
for
to
watching.
You soon. Okay, bye. Okay, bye. Well, it's nice of him to call.
What?
I mean, for some reason, I don't care for this show, but I kind of like the cover in a way.
Well, that's cool artwork, isn't it? What they did there,
they copied
Indiana
Raiders.
Jones.
Yeah,
they call it Adventure Video.
Yeah, see how they copied?
You know who put that out is USA Network, the cable network, if you look closely. And what that was, it was 2 episodes of Space 1999 that they edited into a feature to cash in on the Star Wars craze. And there were all sorts of knockoffs of Star Wars on home video, direct to home video releases. And then this was a show that was canceled in 1977, and these 2 episodes were shot in 74 from season 1, and they just edited them together. Yeah. They released 4 quote-unquote movies like this. One was a 2-part episode from season 2, and the other 3 were just 2 episodes they lumped together haphazardly and tried to pass it off as a movie, and they released it theatrically in Europe. Anyway.
I think I told you before I had all those on film.
Getting back to bootlegs, look at this. Bootleg tape I got in New York City of nothing but cigarette commercials. Some we featured on Podblast 8, a Podblast we did about classic commercials, but look, it's all from film. Converted from film to videotape, from 16mm film, all sorts of crazy cigarette commercials. That's all that's on that 2-hour tape. Nice cover, huh? Just a solid white, nothing special, cardboard slipcover case.
You could make these on computers. You could buy these labels, blank labels. I used to buy them all the time and make my own.
And here's a VHS cassette collection from Sid and Marty Krofft. I think I showed this on our Saturday morning TV PodBlast.
Did you take it over to Tom's and show
I did, but you couldn't really see it that clearly. Look at that. There's HR Puff and Stuff is on one side, and then it talks about all the shows like the Bugaloos, and it's got episodes from all of them. That's a 3 VHS cassette set.
Well, actually, it's kind of cool.
Look at the top too. Look at the art. I love their logo. If you could, can you tilt with that? No, clamp it tight so the tapes don't fall out the bottom. Look at the top. No, above your hand. See where it says Sid and Marty Krofft. I'm trying to. Yeah. Thank you. I love that logo. That's a classic logo to Generation Xers like me that remember that show. And then your favorite, Electra Woman and Dinah Girl. That was one of the Sid and Marty Krofft shows. That's just a 2-episode collection. Hour long on VHS. I had a crush on Dinah Girl, the one with the pigtails, the short. Judy Strangis played her. She was really cute. And here's another bootleg movie starring Brooke Shields called Tilt, about pinball. Nothing special. Look, that's a Maxell videotape.
It's just a blank tape. I mean, it's just a box.
Yeah, all right. You're right. Nothing really to show. You're right. You're right. And getting back to things on video that you can't find on other formats, like V the miniseries and V the Final Battle. This was a
series.
Highly successful.
You're dropping the video.
I know. I almost did. Warner Brothers put this out, and let me shut my laptop off. I have some serious issues with my laptop. There you go. All right. I'll be quick with this. Warner Brothers released these on VHS. Look, it's a 3 VHS set of the V the Final Battle. And what it was when they released it on DVD and recently on Blu-ray earlier this year, they didn't include the recap, and the recap is on the video, and I like the little recap, like it says, last night on V, last time on V, and they would have like a pretty long sequence of like a 5-minute recap, and it would be well edited with different takes of the scenes, and I thought that was kind of cool. And so
I remember the series. I watched it. It was all right.
Just an example of things you can only find on video that you can't find on DVD or Blu-ray later, because like Warner Brothers is really bad at cutting stuff out. Like in the Wonder Woman episodes, they cut out the little trailer before the opening credits. It'd be like a 30-second trailer, and it was really well edited, just like the V one I talked about. And they cut it out. It was in the Columbia House tapes, and on the 16mm film prints that stations would get, but it wasn't on the DVD or the new Blu-ray. I was disappointed when I got the Blu-ray. I was hoping they'd restore those. They were neat little trailers.
Yeah. Well, did you have a favorite? Besides Blockbuster, did you have a video store you used to go to?
The one I talked about earlier is my favorite, and I can't remember. I think it was called Movie Time, but Well,
you had Hollywood Video. We had those out here, too.
Hollywood Video.
Right, they were good.
They were late to the game, though. Like, when they came out in this market, like, video was on its way out the door. And how about Media Play to buy video?
Media Play was a great place to have. Media Play was expensive, but it was a great store. I like Media Play. And there was one up near me that's now an Ollie's store, but in fact, it's next to the Studio Movie Grill. But, Media Play was a great place to buy CDs and movies. But
it really was. And there were book signings, like we met Leonard Maltin. And, the old Kimmer show on Atlanta radio, they would do signings. They would have like a little best of compact disc, best of that for charity, for Toys for Tots. Right. And they'd make appearances at Media Play, and you could get autographs.
It was a great store.
And they'd make popcorn. They kind of copied the mom and pop. To answer your question, there was a mom and pop at Powers Ferry Landing, like I said earlier, I'm repeating myself, that would give you a free box of popcorn when you rented a movie. And Media Play did that. Well, they had free popcorn on a cart.
Well, Screenplay Video, where I used to go, not too far from me, and you know what the guy's name was that owned the store? It was David Disney. His last name was Disney.
How about that?
But anyway, he had popcorn, and like when you went in to his video store, it smelled like a theater because you could smell the popcorn. The popcorn was right there. He had the counter in the middle of the store, and he had the popper sitting up there, and he was
Don't
always
you love that aroma?
Yeah, I love it.
I like pop. Either you like popcorn or you hate it. I think more people like it than dislike it.
I love popcorn, but I like that.
Just watch out for the Colonel. You'll get a crown at your dentist.
But what he would just give you the popcorn. He didn't sell the popcorn. You come in, he'd have a little bag. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Isn't that like a touch of class?
Yeah, he would just he didn't charge you for the popcorn. If you wanted it, you could have it.
And I think most people know this, but there is one Blockbuster left. One Blockbuster video.
It's in Colorado, isn't it?
No, Oregon.
Oregon. Okay.
And there's something called
actually,
disintermediation.
they just keep the name. It's not an actual Blockbuster store anymore. It's not part of their. They're gone, but they just allowed to keep the name.
And the home video business suffered from disintermediation when there's a new mode of business, and that was Netflix. Not only DVD, it was like a perfect storm. Then Netflix came out where you could rent before they streamed. Of course, you could get videos in the mail. And you subscribe. It was a subscription business model.
I still do that. They still do that.
Of course.
You know, and we have a movie we're going to watch tonight that I got from Netflix.
Yeah.
But it's...
about Salvador Dali.
Yeah, Salvador Dali.
With Robert Pattinson, the new Batman.
Yeah, it's called Little Ashes. But anyway, I still get that. It's $8.99 a month. And I can get, thing about what I like about the DVDs is the warehouse that ships the DVDs is right here in Duluth, Georgia. It's a huge place.
So you get it super fast.
So I mail the disc back, like I'll mail this one back on Monday, and they'll have it on Tuesday. Then as soon as they get it back, they ship you the new one. And so I get it, by Thursday. And I've got it on my phone. They send me an email. We just shipped you so-and-so. But it's a great service because I don't have Netflix streaming. I have Amazon Prime. But I like to rent the movies because I like to watch them downstairs on the big screen. And that's why I like Netflix, because they actually offer movies that your conventional stores don't sell or have. They have a vast library of movies.
It's like the Amazon of the video world.
Right. I mean, they have movies that, that maybe didn't play your AMC theaters or your Regal cinemas. It may have played your local art house, or it may have played in, and that's what I like about it, because
independence.
They offer movies that nobody else has to offer, and it's a great service, and I'm glad
it's affordable.
It's DVD.com, but it's a Netflix company,
right?
And it comes in that little red envelope, and so it's
so they totally disrupted the home video market big time.
Well, they were really the first mail out video, I guess. I'm not really sure. I think they were the first.
Yeah, they were
to do that.
Yep, they were first.
This was way before they were streaming, and so. Anyway, I love the service, and it's just, since I stay home and I'm basically retired, I don't really work much anymore. It's a great service for me, and so I just enjoy the service because I'm a homebody. I like to stay here and watch movies and hang out. I just don't get out very much. Stand
by for one more thing. That's a cue to you to have. Do you have the music pulled up later?
We got a few more minutes.
Okay, good.
But
good answer. That's rare. Usually you're wanting to shut it down.
I'm watching the clock over here, but we've gone an hour and 10 minutes. We can go about another 10 minutes.
Hey, any Marvel nerds out there? This is another bootleg. I just want to show you. There was a 1960s Marvel Comics TV show, a cartoon show, where they literally would show panels of a comic book, and they would mouth it. The actors would just move the mouths. It was not really animation. It was just a scan of comic book panels. And you know who did the voice of Submariner in that show? It was John Vernon, best known as the Dean in the movie Animal House. That great voice, John Vernon. He played the voice of Submariner. Fun fact.
Is this something
boys
you bought?
And girls? That's a bootleg I bought, and it's just 16 millimeter film conversions to VHS, and I've converted that to DVD. But I love the art. The artwork on the front, if you hold that up for the camera again, that was from an advert they put in comics and newspapers across the country, and it would list all the affiliates across the country. You could watch that show. It was a syndicated cartoon show.
So it has,
in 1966
Iron
by
Man,
Grantley
the Hulk,
Animation.
Submariner,
Thor.
Yeah.
And they had catchy theme songs like Tony Stark makes you feel he's a cool exec.
Well, that sounds like something I wouldn't want to watch.
Now, not only... Now, listen, we talked about how Netflix killed the video market. You know who also did?
No, tell me.
Well, what killed radio?
Video killed the radio star.
Video killed the radio star.
We don't need to be playing that either.
No, because I don't want to get dinged. You just have to put up with my bad off-key singing.
But I remember. Yeah,
or not.
There was that song. I forget who it was by. But
the Buggles.
Is that who it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that right? The Buggles? Somebody out there help me out with that.
I have no idea.
I look that up. Yeah, it was the Buggles. Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star. Yeah, here we go. Video killed the radio star. Okay, Video Killed the Radio Star is a song written by Trevor Horn, Jeff Downes, and Bruce Woolley in 1978. And it was first recorded by Bruce Woolley and the Camera Club.
Well, videotape, and
Buggles,
that format was around almost 40 years before, DVDs came into the picture. And then when DVDs came out, they were expensive too.
Right.
They weren't cheap. And I remember when I got my first DVD player, I got it, it's a Toshiba, and I got it from a good buddy of mine in Virginia, Tom Hudgens. Bless his heart, he passed away. But I was in the film collecting business, and he bought a lot of film from me, and I turned him on to a guy who had a big library of films he was selling, and he, I went to his house in Virginia, Newport News. Well, actually, Tom went with me. And so but he took me out and bought me my first DVD player. He said it's a finder's fee. And I thought that was so... And I still have it, and it still works.
Tom Hudgens was a great guy.
He's a great guy. And so I don't really use it anymore, but it works fine. I have it in the living room, but I have a newer one. And I have, of course, a Blu-ray downstairs on the...
of course.
In the theater. So...
You've got everything.
Not really. I don't have everything.
God, son, your dog just scared the hell out of me.
He wants to come in,
He entered the room.
I have, I have enough to keep me company.
Yeah.
What are you putting the mask on for?
Because I think I look cool in it.
No, you
to be
don't.
honest with you.
Well, cover up your whole face, but you can't understand you when you put it on, which I guess is a good thing. I don't know.
I'm giving you the evil eye.
Well, you don't.
So not only did adult movies really excel the VHS industry.
It did.
And direct-to-home video movie productions. And I made movies, not dirty ones. I'm talking like...
But,
Danny Cochran, friend of the show, will be here next week. We did a ninja movie. It was fun.
Well, some of the stuff was funny. In fact, when I watched that special on Amazon Prime, it actually showed some home movies that they would make, and they were funny. They were really, they were just unique. And they had some really great ideas making
and
their
special
home.
effects.
And home in their movie.
Home special effects.
Yeah, they're fun to watch. Now I'm not going to go out and buy any of them, but I enjoyed watching them on television.
And it was free, pre-CGI, any of that. I mean, it was just low budget, fair, and fun, and they're highly collectible.
Oh, that's why people are buying those now. If you have Amazon Prime, just search out. There's a special on VHS collecting on there, and it shows these people. They're absolutely nuts. I mean, they showed this one guy upstairs. All he collects is horror movies on VHS tape, and so but he's got his whole upstairs decorated in horror movie posters, and he's got just a wall of VHS movies, nothing but horror. That's all he collects. He doesn't collect anything else. Whether it's from a major studio.
He's not alone. There's a lot of people who collect horror.
Or cheesy horror. He would, the cheesy stuff. He would collect.
Look, I mean, John Carpenter started doing independent movies. Halloween, the first Halloween, Michael Myers was an independent movie.
Yeah.
Now, it was shot on film.
It was on film.
What is the international
but
put
he
it out?
had a budget. I'm talking about people that didn't have a budget. All they had was a VHS recorder and a blank tape.
That's true. He had a modest budget, but you're right. He had a budget to work with.
They didn't really have a budget. They just worked with what they had.
Right.
But they were funny. They were really good.
You still don't believe me that the Halloween Michael Myers killer mask is a William Shatner Captain Kirk mask. People write Nostalgic PodBlast. Everybody knows. I'm trying to help you, Al. It looks like William Shatner as Captain Kirk. Everybody knows. Anyway.
Yeah, I guess you see images in the clouds too, don't you? You see Captain Kirk in the clouds and all that stuff too.
Is that supposed to be some sort of slam? Because it's not very good.
I'm just, I'm not saying it's not true. It sounds,
It is. It's a William Shatner mask.
Well,
and Tom Hudgens, getting back to him, he sold me a print of Zapped with Heather Thomas, sex pot of the 80s. Remember, we watched it here, and the color's still good. It's an R-rated, cheesy teen sex comedy starring Scott Baio and Willie Ames, and Heather Thomas is in it. And Wayne's World sort of ripped off the part, but there's a scene where she's in school, and Scott Baio's character, Barney, is looking at her, and he's daydreaming, and she's taking off her blouse in the middle of class.
Right.
Well, they did that in Wayne's World with Wayne and Heather Locklear, and him having his little fantasy. Anyway, but I like Zapped. I digress, and that was...
I know. I had to torture myself and watch that.
Those teen R-rated sex comedies also drove the VHS rental industry and VHS sales industry greatly, as did music videos. Like we talked about Duran Duran, you held that up.
Right.
And Queen, the music... But music videos were huge. When MTV hit the scene in 1981 and Video Jukebox, HBO before that, that really revolutionized the industry.
It did, and then it led to when I was working at Turner, Ted started a service called Night Tracks.
Yeah, and there's a Facebook group, TBS Night Tracks. It's a lot of fun.
On the weekends, they would run videos. They called it Night Tracks. It was really good. So of course, and people would record on VHS tape those shows as well. And so I have a whole set of Night Tracks on DVD.
You do? You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, you can.
Is it like best of or what? I want to see that.
A good friend of mine, Dave Bell, he passed away. He worked at Turner, and he saved all of these tapes. We talked about networks getting rid of videotape, but Dave Bell would just save all these tapes from Turner, and so he made copies of this stuff, and he sent me a bunch of Night Tracks on DVD. But that's it revolutionized everything. I mean, it's just videotape, and like I said, some people still like it.
I love that people are collecting them. I was going to throw a lot of this stuff away, but again, I love the artwork and the covers and the cases, and they're just so damn bulky. That's the only bad thing.
Well, in that case, just keep them. If you don't watch them,
I
just
have
keep
all
them.
79, actually 80 if you count I have all the Star Treks on VHS. I have the Outer Limits on VHS. And again, it's just the cases are so cool. And I kept most of them plastic. I'd open it with a knife from the bottom and slide the VHS tape out. By the way, I was going to bring, my dad bought in 1987 this kick-ass JVC VHS unit that was a side load. And I should have given you a picture of it. I was going to bring it, and I forgot.
I'm trying to remember what that looked like.
All right. Picture a VHS, and you put the tape in basically in the front sideways. You put the tape in. Where was the video? I have all these VHS tapes here. All right, here's the video machine. You would put it in this way. Instead of this way is a little more compact, and it was in stereo. It was hi-fi, forehead, and all that jazz. And it was an early stereo VCR in 1987. I remember Dad paid $1,000 for that. I still have it.
When I worked at Turner, we had
we
had super VHS machines made by Panasonic.
Yeah,
and
let me keep it.
So we would edit films and stuff, but we transferred the film over to videotape and edited on tape because we got away from 16 millimeter transmission over the air, and we edited from a VHS super cassette onto a 1-inch tape.
Super VHS, like we talked about earlier.
Right. And so what happened was, for television, videotape was in 2-inch when it first came out. You had low band and high band. A lot of TV stations had the low band because it was cheaper. Then you had the high band, a little bit better quality. And so that was for television. And then, of course, they had the U-matic tape we showed earlier. And then after that, they came out with a 1-inch. The 1-inch videotape, reel to reel. And then, and if you watch television today, they don't even use tape anymore. Everything is on a hard drive. For example, a lot of people like Turner Classic Movies. All of that stuff is on a hard drive. There's nothing on tape. There's nothing on film. It's all on a hard drive, and I've actually seen it at Turner here in Atlanta. It's just a huge computer. It's all it is, and it's just everything's just downloaded on a hard drive.
Let's talk about video editing. I used to take 2 VCRs, hook them up together.
I never went to that.
I did. I made all sorts of wild videos. I still have them. I need to convert. Like I do mad movies, like a Lost in Space episode that were dirty, like R-rated,
right.
where like Smith is calling the robot, saying F you. But I mean, clever things. Like I wrote a script out and it would match perfectly. It would look like a Japanese into English dub show like Spectrum Man.
For nothing, really.
It was, no. One of them's fun. One of them's really fun. I can't get into it. It's very risque. But then I did one of like the song Some Like It Hot by the Power Station, who do our theme song. We got the theme song Harvest for the World from them, the opening theme and ending closing theme. But they did a song, big hit, Some Like It Hot. Some like it hot, and you can't tell how hot till you try. And I edited a bunch of scenes from Star Trek, and I did one of Kirk making out with all these women to the song You're in Love by Rat, like the heavy metal band Rat. You're in love. And it worked.
You had a lot of time on your hands, didn't you?
I think I was a pretty good editor, say so myself.
Well,
and I need to convert.
I'm not saying you weren't.
And on my favorite old TV shows, I would, like Fugitive, I would do a video to... Jive talking, because he'd always lie to get out of it.
Right,
he couldn't say his real identity because he was wanted for murder, even though he's innocent. And so I edited Jive talking, and what was the other
like
song?
That song,
By Foreigner. God, that was a great Foreigner song. I'm free. Oh, Renegade, the renegade who had it made. Remember that song, Renegade?
I like Foreigner. They were. I got some of their albums. I like their music.
Yeah, they were good and kind of underrated. Now I guess it's time we better start wrapping for our One More Thing segment, don't you think? Well, or do you have something else you want to add about videotape?
Well, just that, I need to, Blockbuster was really the last big chain of video rentals and service.
And rip-offs for the late fees. They were notorious for ripping you off like we talked about.
Well, yeah, but they
wouldn't forgive for nothing.
Well, they still had VHS tape, but they converted over to DVDs, of course. And, and most everybody, rented DVDs from Blockbuster. And they would sell off rentals for $14.95 back in the day, because I actually bought some. But I'm not sure when they went away. But I got a picture. Let me back up here. You can see when they... it's really sad.
It is sad. But but again, it's a love-hate relationship for me and a love-hate memory because of the way they would really rape the ape with those late fees.
Now I got a picture up. They were closing out and they were selling videos right before the DVDs came out. They started selling videos for $49.95 on some of the titles when they were,
I tried to get a job at Blockbuster and they wanted to do a damn hair analysis. I mean, what is this, the CIA? They wanted to, and it's a long story. And of course I passed, but I'm just saying, they did a hair analysis. Let's see, Blockbuster Video ended. When did it end? It was defunct as of January 12th, 2014. The last corporate stores went away, January 12th, 2014.
And I have a video up of a picture up of one of the Blockbuster stores. I'm not sure where it was at, but it's really sad. It's empty,
Before that, though, September 23rd, it is sad. I'm sorry, go ahead. You're talking about
No, but I've got a
picture.
video, it's just, I remember when the one close to me closed, and the store is still there, but something else is in its location, of course. But, it was real sad to see them when they closed.
Now, it was founded on October 19th, 1985 in Dallas, Texas. The founder was David Cook. Okay, so it's condescending. September 23rd, 2010 is when the original company was defunct. And then in November 6, 2013, the Dish-owned corporate portion went away. And then it finally died altogether, except for the one in Oregon, January 12th, 2014. 12th. I said 12th. January 12th, 2014. So, rest in peace, Blockbuster Video and your late fees. But I like the mom and pop video store, though, bro.
I love the mom and pop video. Like Screenplay was really my favorite, which is near me. And I'm sure that wherever you live, or people, that you had a local video store that you really liked. And so I love visiting the video store. But anyway,
and what was the rental? Do you remember? Like the mom and pop, I think it was like $5.
No, it
$7.
No, it wasn't that much for a rental. It was like $1.50.
You're right.
It was $1.50.
That's right. It wasn't
Why would it be
that much.
$9? But no, it
wouldn't be worth it.
The Screenplay rented theirs for $150 for one night.
Oh, and then another thing that killed it was on demand. You can on demand movies, and before that, you could get it on closed circuit cable TV.
What I liked about Screenplay is that when you checked out a movie, you didn't pay then. You paid when you brought it back. Because
well, what's the difference?
Well, if you brought it back late, then you got charged a late fee. See, if you brought it back the next day, he charged you $150. If you brought it back a late fee, there was 75 cents more. I don't know. That was the way he operated. You didn't. You paid for your movie when you brought it back, and if you didn't bring it back, they would debit your credit card because you had to have a credit card on file. What are you doing?
Just keep talking.
What are you looking for?
Oh, not now. Oh, just keep talking.
Well, anyway, do you have a correction corner?
I always got a correction corner.
Well, what is it?
Well, hit the music. That's our one more thing.
Okay.
You said correction corner. Do you have correction corner?
No. What did I play?
You played one more thing.
Oh, okay. Well, I do the one more thing. I do have one more thing.
Yeah, you do your one more thing first.
We talked about it earlier. I have Showtime now, and I had it once before, but I didn't have it for the longest. And so now I have Showtime. I got Comcast to give it to me because, I was threatened to cut the TV service, so they gave me. Anyway, I've been watching a series called Shameless.
That's a great show.
That is a great
William
show.
H. Macy is out of his mind in that.
It is a great show. And if I'm catching up, I'm watching season 1 and season 2. And then the new season starts in December. But if you want to watch really a well-acted, well-written show, then watch Shameless. And it's shameless. I mean, it's just...
Hence the name.
You will not believe some of the stuff that you see.
Oh, yeah. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And it's dysfunctional families. It's... abnormal,
and I just watched an episode today before you got here that Louise Lasser was. I remember her from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
The nurse, the mean nurse.
Yeah, she plays William H. Macy's mother, and she is about as dysfunctional as the rest of them. And she's gotten big. She's a big woman.
She reminds me of Mrs. Ballbricker in Porky's.
Yeah, I mean, she is just
very enjoyable show.
It's a very enjoyable show, and it's on now, and I've been taping some of them to look at later because we were in here doing the show.
The new season's about to start, like you said.
Right, so, but yeah. Do you have a correction corner?
No. A correction corner or one more thing?
Or one more thing. What did I have here?
You keep calling it correction corner. We have, specific correction corner piece of music and audio.
Oh.
And then we have one for one more thing. I do have a correction.
That?
No.
Well, I got it.
You may have it mislabeled or something?
I have no idea. It's been
correction corner. All right, forget it. I just did it. Yeah.
Correction corner.
Oh, I know what I did. I labeled it wrong.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. So my correction is in the previous video I was talking about Nick Nolte playing the Absorbing Man in the Hulk movie by Ang Lee. I'm sorry, talking about him playing the Abomination. No. He played the Absorbing Man in that movie.
Right.
We watched it, the Ang Lee Hulk. No, we watched the Incredible Hulk from 2008. I'm all mixed up today. Anyway, there was another actor, Tim Roth from Pulp Fiction. He robbed the
I liked
Waffle
him
House
in a
at the
movie
end.
called The Full Monty he was in.
He played the Abomination in the Incredible Hulk with Liv Tyler and Ed Norton as Bruce Banner in the Hulk. Nick Nolte played the Absorbing Man, a different character. So correction on that. And now I have my one more thing. Hit it out.
Just say it.
No, come on, hit it. Come on. We live. One more thing. I was trying to find the DVD set for Wonder Woman. We're still giving that away. Am I potted up? I want to play a little music. Here we go. Okay. In anticipation of the movie that Al mentioned that's going to be released on Christmas Day 2020, Wonder Woman 1984, we're giving away every episode ever made, uncut, on DVD of Linda Carter's Wonder Woman. Just be the first to answer this question.
And that question
on
is...
Facebook, just comment, and that's good enough. First person to comment gets it. All right. What does Wonder Woman and My Three Sons have in common? I've asked this question before. It's something you can't really Google. But if you think about it, it has something to do with the way it was transmitted. Think network. That's your clue. Network. Or networks.
Yeah, okay.
So that's that. And then my other one more thing is I want to invite people to watch our new feature. It's separate from the Nostalgic Podblast. We're starting to review movies, and it's a lot of fun. We go to the movies as often as we can.
We're not critics. We just like movies, and we just talk about them.
Do you want to listen to like a pointy-headed critic? Okay,
No.
a journalist, or do you want to listen to a real moviegoer who collects movies, who knows movies, who worked on movies?
I'd rather listen to what I want to say or what you have to say.
And we both have worked on movies. Tell them about. You've told your story about working with Denzel Washington, running the dailies.
I worked on a lot of movies. I worked as a dailies operator, and that's when they shot stuff on film. And so, they would go. They call them rushes a lot of times. Like they would shoot a movie, and then that next day they would watch. Always a day behind because they had to send the film to the lab and send it back. And so I would run their dailies for them. And I worked on a lot of movies.
And Denzel liked you a lot.
Yeah.
He said, "Come on, eat lunch with me."
I had lunch with him.
Hardy.
That movie was shot here in Atlanta, and it was shot in Rome, Georgia, up at Berry College. It was a fun time. I really enjoyed working on movies. I worked on Free Jack with Mick Jagger
and Whoopi
Goldberg.
What's her face? Yeah.
Yeah, and so I worked on a lot of that stuff. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, so the point is,
But
you
now-
know how hard it is to make a movie from real experience. And so
yeah.
we're not as brutal as some of the critics.
The thing about it is, when you're a dailies guy, they gave me a pager back in the day. I didn't have a cell phone. They gave me a pager. And then when the pager went off, I knew that I had to show up to run dailies. You know, so it's just whatever.
Oh, that's just the Wonder Woman DVD set I was trying to find. Well, go on, finish your story. I derailed you. I didn't mean to.
And so it could be, I don't know, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They wanted to watch them, or it could be midnight. You know, it was crazy. I enjoyed doing it. But now they don't really have a dailies operator. They have video editors, because my friend Eric Milson, he works on movies today, but he's a video, you know, they can actually, since they shoot it digitally, they can actually watch it right after they shoot it. They can play it back.
You have a lot of friends in the industry, like the guy that did the sound for Godzilla, King of Monsters.
Yes, that was Eric.
In Pinewood Studios in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite studios in the world,
actually,
the one in England.
He got in the business because of me. He came to, I worked on a movie called Road Trip that was filmed here. Remember Road Trip?
Yeah, of course.
I worked on that movie. I ran dailies for it. And so he came.
With that guy that's got one testicle. He's the star of it.
Yeah, it was just.
Oh, God, what's that guy's name?
There were a bunch of. I liked the people there. Anyway, he showed up one day while I was running, and he got into the business. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
So it's called Movie Views.
Yes.
That's our segment. And so on our YouTube channel, Nostalgic with a C, Podblast. I can't enunciate sometimes. Sounds like I'm saying Nostalgia Podblast. Nostalgic Podblast, you'll see our movie reviews. Easier for me to say. We reviewed Fat Man starring Mel Gibson, and then we reviewed the movie we saw last night,
The Last Vermeer.
The Last Vermeer, starring Guy Pearce, who I work with in Lawless, where I tarred and feathered a bootlegger for him. I played his henchman in that film starring...
Actually, that's not a bad movie.
It's about the real Darabont brothers. It was based on the Wettest County in the World book, and that was a shooting title before they changed it to Lawless.
It was good, because you gave me a copy of it, remember?
Jessica Chastain's in it, fully nude, I might add. And then the new James Bond, rumored to be the new James Bond. Oh, Shia LaBeouf is in it, who is a space case, of course. Road Trip. Who was that guy? Hang on, before we sign off, Road Trip.
It was kind of like a...
Tom Hardy's who I was trying to think of. It was in Lawless.
Yeah.
Let's see, Road Trip.
Yeah,
I can see that guy's swarmy face. He's like a smart-ass face.
Yeah, he was at the dailies a lot. I got to know him a little bit. Not a whole lot, but I did.
You know, it's so silly. Oh, Tom Green.
That's right, Tom.
I pulled up cast. He's the main star, and you have to dig for his friggin' name, and it's not alphabetical either.
Whatever happened to him? I wonder. He hasn't been in movies in a while. I guess
Tom Green. Well, maybe he retired. Let me look it up. You can, once you earn a certain amount of money, you can retire. Well,
that's true.
Let's see, Tom Green.
Anyway, we have to say goodbye.
He's 49 years old, born January 30th, 1971. Anyway, it's been 6'3" tall, 6'3" tall. It's been a lot of fun reminiscing about video. It's a great topic. Al Hardy thought of. I'm Chance Bartels, co-creator, co-host. And we'll see you next week, Sunday, December 3rd at 3:30 Atlanta time, Eastern time, for our second annual Pop Culture Christmas with our friend Danny. He'll be back.
Say bye.
Danny Cochran. Later.
Now they are.
Hey, everybody. We're just going to go a couple minutes for a little after show. Man, my laptop is so gummed up. I just got this. And this little bracelet, this friendship bracelet, which I love, that my sweet 7-year-old niece Molly made for me, these metal pieces act like a magnet on the portion of my laptop right here that's like the lower left-hand corner. And I think it screwed up the processor or something. What the hell's up with that?
Well, I don't know why you just don't.
It's going. Why don't you? It's vibrating, and I think it's going to explode.
If you use your computer, takes the bracelet off while you use your computer. Then you wouldn't have the problem. And then when you're not using your computer, put it back on.
It's tied tight. Look, it's got a tied knot that I tied.
And then fine, keep it on.
No. Look, I keep it. I think the damage is done. Is my point. I think there's nothing. I have to take it in to get repaired. Doggone it. I mean, did you hear all that noise? I'm sorry, folks, about all that noise this thing was making. But we want to also acknowledge.
That chance is terrible with a computer.
We want to thank all of the people in the audience that watch, and thanks for letting me share on your pages and stuff. I'm not trying to invade your space. I think we have a good show. Okay, no credit to me. You're the broadcast professional with the good voice in this outfit. Okay.
What show is this? Number
VHS.
No. What show number? That's what
You put me on the spot. I think it's 47.
47.
And then 48 will be the Christmas one, and we're coming up on 50.
47, right?
Yes, sir. VHS or history of VHS, however you want to label it.
No, I'm just saying it as, you can label it anywhere you want.
Yeah. So, man, and I had a lot of clips pertaining to VHS that got lost when I shut down my laptop because it was about to explode on me. God.
You just got that thing not long ago, and you've already screwed it up.
What? This just happened, too. This bracelet, or this... There's a magnetic field, I guess.
Your drive acts like the hard drive will act like a magnet. You just do whatever. I'm not going to argue.
No, I'm not arguing with you either. I'm listening, and I'm saying it's a gosh darn shame.
I'm telling you what you need to do. You need to take the bracelet off when you're not using your computer.
Okay.
And take it off.
I'm just gonna have to cut it because, like I said, it's tied so doggone tight.
Well,
that I can't do that.
It's just whatever. Just. You can retie it. Just cut it.
That's what I'm going to do. It's not worth ruining my laptop over.
Well,
isn't this entertaining, folks? Oh, and our friend Jim Gossett's playing tonight. I wish we could have gone. Newsmakerline.com. Look him up. He's going to have some shows in the future coming up. He's a hilarious comedian, friend of the show. Newsmakerline.com. What you got?
You showed me. He brought me another comic to put on the wall. See, I didn't show it on the show, but I think I showed him up on the wall the other day.
I want to thank our caller, Jeff Logan, buddy of mine. Thanks for calling in and talking about the Porky's prank. We got to do a show on practical jokes. There's so many funny practical jokes, I think, that are very funny, that are relatable, that I pulled, and that people can relate to. I want to hear about your practical jokes that you played. You, Al Hardy, and anyone out there in the audience.
I didn't do stuff like that.
A lot of people pull jokes, man.
I didn't do that.
Whether it's toilet paper roll on a house.
I was pretty boring, actually.
Well, I'll tell you one right now. At Perimeter Mall...
I was pretty boring.
1988. Okay, we used to take that camcorder around and do a man on the street just effing with people. Oh, God, I'm not even going to tell this. I still have the video of it, but a security guard got in my face, and there's like fisticuffs, and it gets violent, and it's a great piece of video I need to put to YouTube. But the thing I would do, there used to be an Eckerd drugstore, I think it was, in Perimeter Mall, and I used to buy Joy, like the... Joy, the dishwashing liquid, and there was a fountain in Perimeter Mall, and you would put Joy in a little like Dixie cup and pour it in the fountain, and bubbles would go everywhere, all over that mall. I did that a lot, and it drove the mall security and the mall people crazy. I never got caught doing that, but that was a great prank. Just pour a little bit, and shoot, you could do it today. Tell your kids about it. It's funny. It's harmless. Put a little bit of
but you don't
whatever
need to be,
brand,
you
Dawn,
don't need
Joy.
to be doing stuff like that. It's just
put it in a fountain and watch it foam up, boy.
It's juvenile. You don't need to be doing that.
Oh, I wouldn't do it today. I
Well,
mean, I'm
know,
an adult,
but I just didn't do stuff like that.
Listen to my laptop. Look, it stopped doing it. I'm going to pull the mic down.
I want you to turn your computer off.
Okay.
Just turn it off.
All righty. Okie dokie, Smokey.
You've
Okie dokie,
messed it up.
Smokey. God, is there any hope for me at all? Oh, here it is. Now it's messing with me. As soon as I try to pull the mic down, it
Just
stops.
close it off. Just turn it off.
Golly.
Yeah. I can't. I know it's a cute bracelet and everything where it came from, but
shutting it off.
A computer is not cheap.
Do you? I'm just gonna have to take it in to get fixed. God bless America.
If you still wear the bracelet,
it's shut off. It's still going.
What good is getting your computer fixed if you go?
All right. When we wrap from the live video, I'm going to cut this thing off. But, whoa.
All right.
Oh, whoa.
That was me. I was just plugging the thing back in.
So, the reason I can't really cut this, look, there's little blocks on it. If I cut it'll all come apart. It's a friendship bracelet.
I know what they are, So you just need to, you've already damaged your computer. You need to cut it and redo it.
Not. Oh, God. And it also made a mark. Like where the metal piece gets on there like a magnet.
I don't want to talk about it no more.
All right.
I've told you how I feel about it. You need to take the bracelet off when you're using your computer.
All right, and that's what I'm going to do.
I don't want to talk about it no more.
No more.
No. I told you what you need to do.
Well, we love video, and long live VHS, right? As long as it doesn't deteriorate into dust, like you said, it's going to eventually do. All those videos.
I have Laserdisc. I have laser rot.
I have laser disc too. Well, not all. Laser disc, that's an interesting point. It's laser rot is caused by the glue. There's two sides to a laser disc.
They layer it, but
and the glue would leak.
The early DVDs are that way.
Right.
And they'll go bad eventually.
And you'll see spots on the screen.
What laser rot is, or DVD rot, is just little white specks all in the video. And it looks like
someone's vacuuming in the old days. Like when someone would turn on the vacuum, your TV, like the rabbit ears, it would get all snowy. It's like that. Not quite as bad as that.
No, it's just little white dots that appear on the screen. I mean, I've got but they've perfected Blu-rays and the DVDs now years ago, so they supposedly will last forever. But nothing is forever.
That's right. And when I hit that milestone birthday, I started thinking about my collection, and like some of my friends are starting to downsize their stuff. They're like, I don't want to be a burden to my spouse with all my collectibles. And
well, I've downsized my stuff.
You know what though? Once your collection belongs in a museum, I think you should maybe think about the Library of Congress writing them and donating some of your stuff. That's just me.
Can I show my Santa Claus?
Yeah. It's not offensive.
No.
Or anything.
Hand him to me.
Wink, wink. It's not offensive.
I got Santa Claus in here.
I don't think it's meant to be offensive.
I got Santa Claus here. See? I got him. He's cute. And
you got this one. Hey. It's Santa Claus coming today. Hey.
I love this Santa Claus. Look at this.
It's a brother. I love that.
Brother. See his gold chain?
It's not a mean thing. It's not a racist thing. I mean,
isn't he great?
There's two Santas.
Yeah, there he is.
He's from the South Pole.
There he is. I just love him.
I do too.
Hey.
Yeah. Here's his bag on the back. See his hat.
Ring his bell. You can ring my bell. Ring my bell.
Shut up.
What?
I don't need you to sing. Anyway, I thought he was kind of nice.
That's cool.
He's the brother.
I'll put him back.
You can put him back. Ugh. I saw that somewhere years ago, and I said, I got to have that. It was after Christmas. It was on sale. I think I paid $20 for it. Something
you didn't get it for free? You always get stuff for free.
I bought it.
By the way, congratulations on a negative COVID test. Seriously, COVID-19.
Right. Does not live here. I had to go. What was that?
Your phone. You got a text. What was that? What do you think? I tease. I joke.
It was a political text. Want me to remember to vote in the runoff.
Does it even matter anymore? I hate to say it.
Do you ever get those?
All the time. I don't know how I got on their list, man.
Oh.
I don't care what side. I don't want to be bothered with that mess. Okay. Well,
that's the text I got.
Don't show it. Don't give them attention when they're harassing you.
Anyway.
Don't give them people can pause the damn screen and see that crap.
I thought Verizon was getting rid of that stuff. Sometimes they do. Like I've gotten a thing from Verizon that says
they're the best
potential spam,
yeah.
And the phone won't even ring. It'll show up that I had a call, but it won't let the phone.
It'll
ring.
block it.
It'll block it.
That's pretty cool. That's a cool feature.
That's pretty cool with Verizon. What was I going to say? I forgot.
I don't know.
I was talking about something, and then the phone dinged. Oh well.
No. Think before we wrap. Think.
I can't.
Movies. It's got to be.
No,
you have a one-track mind, and it's a movie mind and music mind.
It wasn't about movies.
About the election. About the stupid
I don't
text.
know what it was about. Oh well. I don't know. We have to say goodbye anyway.
We're grateful to each and every one of you. Tell your friends. Please subscribe to our new YouTube channel, Nostalgic PodBlast. And what's in it for you is we're doing more giveaways. No fooling. No crap. We're giving away bigger prizes after this Wonder Woman set. I already have stuff lined up, but I'm going to wait until I give away every Wonder Woman set ever made. And I'll check our Facebook page later to see if anyone answered the winning trivia question answer. And
what are you doing?
Reaching for it.
Oh.
Just reaching for it again. All right. Well, we're going to sign off. And I got a whole mountain of videos to compile and put away and take home later.
Well, I guess we'll watch a movie.
Yeah, let's watch a movie.
All right.
Happy Saturday, everybody. And Merry Christmas season. Happy Hanukkah season. Happy holidays. Happy Kwanzaa. Whatever you celebrate, make it a good one.